Hi, everyone. My name is George Cao, and I'm very happy to welcome you to this ABC Wisdom Hour. So ABC stands for the Authentic Business Community, and we are a group of kindred spirits who are regularly supporting each other as we each build our authentic business. And by authentic business, each person might have their own definition. For me, it's building a sustainable livelihood that's deeply meaningful to us and highly contributive to the world. So before I introduce the speakers, I want to encourage you to chat throughout the session, because as you chat, you show up as a presence and as an encouragement for the speakers, and it just makes the event more fun for everyone. So we can start the chat by just having you say where you are watching this from in the world, what major metropolitan area. And the way you can chat is simply to comment right underneath the video. Just a comment, and there's a comment section right under the video. Go ahead and type it into the chat right now and press enter. And I will be calling out the some of the first chats. So thank you for doing that. Sorry, I was distracted for a little moment because I was also making sure that I can see the chats as well. So the other thing I'd love to know is, how did you find out about this event? Was it through one of the speakers who invited you, or how did you discover this? And you can let us know through the comments section as well. So as you listen to the speakers today, I encourage you to comment with anything you're hearing that's encouraging to you, that's inspirational, that's resonating with you. Even if you type just a few words about what you're hearing, it's going to be a benefit for the speakers, and it'll be just make the event more fun for everyone. So today you get to enjoy the wisdom of 3 of our authentic business community members. And let me share with you what the topics are so you can know what you can look forward to. The first topic is called Be More, Do Less. Relax into your soul purpose. And that will be brought to us by Holly Woods. The second topic is the art of asking, understanding why we don't ask and how we can in ways that allow people the opportunity to happily help you. And that will be brought to us by Jason Stein. And the third and final topic is called Get Energized, the 3 keys to building your energy and magnetizing success. And that's brought to us by Meryl, Hershey, Beck. So you're going to leave this hour a little wiser, I hope more uplifted and equipped to build an authentic business and a more purposeful life. So again, I encourage you to chat and comment throughout the hour. Type what you're hearing, even a few words that is resonating with you, and also feel free to type in your questions in the comments area, and I will be moderating and bringing them forward at the appropriate time. So let me bring forward our first speaker, Holly Woods, and let me just read her background to you. Dr. Holly Woods is a purpose guide and a mentor to rising visionaries and entrepreneurs. Her clients are people whose big vision feels stuck or stalled because of some inner and often hidden resistance to being in their true greatness. Holly is an integral master coach, and she is also a certified purpose guide. Holly has been in the human transformation field for more than 30 years, and she has a doctorate in human development. Holly served as the director of education at the Shift Network. You may have heard of that wonderful company. She helped to double the scope and revenue of that company during her tenure. Holly consults with businesses and organizations to align their resources and their infrastructure with their purpose and their mission. She provides executive and team coaching, facilitation, and training for growing companies and organizations. Holly is a clairvoyant and an oracle. She sees deeply into who people are, and she has synthesized her 30 years in the field of human transformation into coaching people to build businesses based in the deepest meaning and highest purpose. It's such a privilege and honor for me to introduce to you Holly Woods.
Thank you, George. I'm so excited to be here today to share my lessons about how to be more and do less and relax into your soul purpose. I'm really passionate about helping people live into their biggest vision of their lives in a more expedient way than I did. I took a long route to figure out what I'm here to do. 17 careers in about 30 years and lots of stumbling. Because we're just about out of time on the planet, I really don't want you to spend 30 years waiting to live into your purpose. So I want to share a quote related to this. The greatest danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark. And that's by Michelangelo. It is absolutely essential for the survival of the planet and for our own life fulfillment that each of us brings our unique, fullest self, because that's the right puzzle piece for this cosmic puzzle. But I'm definitely not here to depress you or tell you what ails us, because we all know that. It's much simpler than that, and I think we have solutions available to us right now. I believe it's a magical time to be on the planet, to be facing these challenges. And given that we know that the shift to a new way will only be through a higher consciousness and people living on purpose, we have a lot of resources available now in human development technology. We have meditation and yoga, brain entrainment tools, mindfulness apps, NLP, voice dialogue, a whole bunch of techniques that many of us have developed. So despite all the challenges we're experiencing, there's actually never been a better time to be here. What a luxury for this global conversation to be going on about living on purpose, and to have all the capacity we now have and a level of consciousness that might actually be enough to save us all. It's hard to imagine not wanting to be here. You know, like 30 seconds to go, 4th and down, and we've got the ball and the QB is throwing the spiral to the running back. People pay big money to be in the box seats. So I'm actually really happy to be here, and I want to encourage you to be the same. So now that we've established there's never been a more important time for those of us in the room right now to be on the planet, one of the best ways you can contribute to shifting it all to a different place is by being fully empowered and living into your purpose. And you may be thinking, yeah, but most people can't do that. That's not for me. Well, it is for you. I have lots of stories I could tell you about people who said the same thing initially before I worked with them. There was this landscape artist who quit painting because it had no meaning anymore. And then we explored her purpose and cleared out the limiting beliefs about not being good enough from her childhood. And images of the women she was supposed to be painting came in, women who didn't have a voice. So she now describes her painting and her life as Technicolor, where before it was black and white. I have another client, a successful entrepreneur and a corporate consultant, who came to me because his work was sucking out his lifeblood. As we worked together and cleared his resistance, he realized he was here to start a company, facilitating CEO peer groups to work through some of the challenges he'd have. And so that's what he's doing now and just loving it. And you too have a story like that, remembering who you are and what you're here to do in this lifetime. So you may be thinking thoughts like, I can't live into purpose. Maybe you're thinking, it's too hard, I'll never figure it out. You know, or I have to give up so much stuff. Purpose is only for people who are willing to give up everything. Or maybe you're telling yourself, I have too many commitments to go looking for my purpose. Or you say, who am I to live into my purpose? That's only for deeply spiritual people. Well, most of my clients have had this same kind of resistance, usually based in misconceptions about what purpose is, or in limiting beliefs about who they are. So generally, this type of resistance occurs for several reasons. We don't really know what our purpose is. We've been so closed off to it that we can't remember it. Or we can't see it. Even though our purpose exists in our lives as the thing we do without trying, it's usually not obvious to ourselves. Or maybe you haven't blessed yourself with your purpose. You can't actually experience your purpose as a blessing or a gift unless you give it to yourself. And many of us don't serve ourselves with our highest gifts. Or we have so many constrictions that keep us defensive and armored that we can't possibly imagine ourselves as big enough or good enough to have anything important to deliver. So why bother? So there's two questions I'd actually like to ask you now, if you'll allow me, to figure out whether you're ready to live into your purpose. So listen closely as in your body as you hear these questions. You might even close your eyes if you want to feel your body more closely. Do you have a longing for something more? Maybe a sensation in your body or a heartache when you see someone else living into their big vision? Or maybe you can't even put your finger on what it is, but you know that if you found it, it would absolutely change everything in your life. The second question is, do you find that you have this visceral intolerance for the status quo? For even things that used to be okay or tolerable, but no longer are. Maybe you shudder inside or find yourself avoiding events or people or even listening to the same things you used to. So if you answered yes or even maybe to these questions, you've probably got an itch that needs to be scratched. And that itch is your soul calling out to you. And it's saying, hello there, anybody in there? Remember me? It's why we came back to the planet. Your soul really wants to be heard. And you, like the rest of us, have forgotten how to listen. So I'm going to give you one clue to the mystery of your soul purpose. First, I want to tell you a quick story that will lead us to the meat of this presentation. So I usually offer my clients a lot of custom practices on our work together, and I send them into nature with instructions on how to listen to the wildness so they can get better in touch with their soul. And as part of that, they often perform a soul quest for a few hours or overnight. Well, one of my clients, I'll call him Jack, decided to take a long walk instead of an overnight soul quest sitting in the forest. I mean a long walk. Jack lives in Europe. He set out about 6 p.m. one night, and I actually encourage you not to do this at home. So, Jack shaved off his hair. He had that long Jesus hair. So he was really doing some shedding. Anyway, Jack walked into the night. He went looking for himself. He walked all night. He took no money on purpose. Well, the long and the short of it is, he ended up walking like 30 miles in 11 hours. He got home the next day pretty beat up, exhausted, tired, hungry. Now, I didn't suggest any of this, mind you. This was his idea. So he was telling me this whole story during our next session right after his walkabout. And he was laughing and laughing. I'm like, what are you laughing about? The suspense was killing me. And he said it was so funny, so ironic that he had to walk all that way, all those hours in the middle of the night, hungry, scared, alone, laughing, sad, angry, to come home to his living room to find out that he was already home, and he always had been. And from that experience, he had come home to himself by leaving everything he knew in the material world, exposing himself fully to the unknown. His greatest discovery was that he was already there. So now I can tell you the meat of the story, and it's pretty simple. You already are your purpose. You don't have to go find it. And that's true for everybody, including you. As someone who's finally remembered her purpose after many lifetimes, I can tell you that the most powerful awareness we can have in this lifetime is to remember we already are our purpose. You already are home. You just have to learn to relax into who you are. The water running around the boulders in the middle of a stream wouldn't think about trying to climb up and over the rock. It finds the path of least resistance. Spirit moves within us in the same way. The cosmic force within us intends to be expressed without trying. You are your purpose without trying. And in fact, your only job in this lifetime is to express that which you already are. You are already filled with the stardust of the quantum field. And you're asking, yeah, well, why don't I feel like stardust when I wake up in the morning, or when I'm negotiating traffic or dealing with conflict at work during the day? Well, you may just not recognize it because you're constricted and defended and living in the illusion that there's something bad about the experiences you're having, other than that these just are experiences, a part of your embodied human lifetime you're having. This whole human experiment is designed to help you become available to the magic and mystery of growing up human, or being your fullest self on the planet. It's actually all on purpose. So aligning with your purpose does not require any effort at all. Let me say that again. Aligning with your purpose does not require effort. In fact, it's just the opposite. If you orient to the aliveness within you, rather than the constrictions, the quantum field will come in behind you, and you will have all that energy and power to support you and guide you in life. The key is to learn to be still and listen. Listen to the whispers of your soul, the whispers of the cosmos, and you can hear the vital force wanting to move you. You do actually have to pay attention if you want to live a purposeful life. And the key is to be more and do less. No more efforting required. So I want to guide you through an exercise in stillness if you're willing. So put your feet on the floor, close your eyes if you're not driving, and if you can, gently focus your gaze on the point between your eyes. And just imagine being in the energetic space I'm going to describe, where you could possibly hear the whispers of your soul, the energy of the cosmos guiding you. Even if you think you can't hear that or think it's too woo-woo, let's just pretend you can feel the energetic quality of that stillness, the quantum field moving in you, because we now know it exists. Even scientifically, we know it exists. So take time to be fully present with yourself. Be fully present with the intention to be aware of yourself. Allow yourself to come into contact with your own life force energy. Now there's something inside you that's causing your heart to beat. It's greater than your conscious mind. Be aware of that life force, that innate intelligence, that expression of spirit that is within you, animating your own existence. Put your attention on that. There's something in you that's led you here to be on the planet at this time, to be a part of this conversation. Something's compelling you to develop yourself more deeply. There's a deeper part of you that's led you to desire the purpose for which you were born. Intend to merge with that. Now, whatever it is that's compelling or guiding you to develop this aspect of your potential, I invite you to connect with that right now. Just intend to trust that that is exactly what is happening in this moment. So just observe there's something greater than your individual self that's alive within you. The same force that's beating your heart right now is the same life force that sustains the universe and the whole cosmos. It's the same life force that's been guiding you your entire life, gently urging you to grow beyond yourself, to fulfill a higher purpose, to make your life a contribution to the greater existence. In truth, you already are all that. So this is your time to consciously reconnect with that part of yourself that's already aware of its purpose. It's not about doing or struggling with your mind. It's simply about letting go and trusting and being. Now, as you keep your eyes closed, let the whispers of your purposeful existence come. You may experience a body sensation or see an image or hear sounds or even words. And if you could hear these whispers, what do you experience of yourself from that stillness? What do you see or hear? And if you see in yourself in that space, who are you now? So right now, before it escapes you, I want you to write down two things. Number one, write down a few words to help you name what you experienced. And if you saw anything of yourself in the stillness, perhaps the future you, write that down. And the second is, how did that feel in your body? What was the energy of that experience? What did you experience that will help take you vibrationally into the future? So that is you on purpose. It is already here. And our goal is to help you get out of your own way to living it by beginning to provoke your imagination, manage your energy, clear out your ego's limitations, and listen to the guidance that emerges from your own body and from your soul so that you can begin to embody and relax into a life on purpose. So come back now into your 3D body in the chair you're sitting in and notice what's going on for you in this moment in your 3D existence. What's keeping you from relaxing into that big vision of yours that you just experienced? You don't have to live a life of longing to continue to wonder why you're here or tolerate the status quo of your default life. And you don't have to effort to do more to live into your purpose. Your purpose is like the stream running in your body, gently waiting for you to notice, to remember why you're here. So you too can be more and do less and learn to relax into your purpose and live that big vision of who you really are. Thank you, George.
Wow. Thank you, Holly. I feel more connected to the source of who I really am, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna ask Holly to share a bit about the work that she does with clients in just a little bit. But before I do that, I want to encourage you to comment underneath the video and share a few thoughts of thanks to Holly, or anything that resonated with you from her message. I'm so grateful that we get to watch this, listen to this again and again, as we need to really let that powerful message land within us and within our souls. So I do see a couple of comments. I just want to thank you. Lee from Golden, British Columbia, Sandy from Petaluma, Linda is here as well, and Nav and Rosie. So thank you all for commenting. And Ruth is here as well. Thank you so much. So Holly, can you share with us do you have something that you'd like to share with us, a short message about your work?
Yeah, so thank you, George, and I'm really grateful for everybody here. And I gave you the first clue to help you relax into your soul purpose. And what I'd love to encourage you to do is go to my website, hollywoodscoaching.com, and download the free ebook I've written called 6 Clues to Solve the Mystery of Your Soul Purpose that has the other 5 clues, so there's more to help you think about how to relax into your soul purpose. In addition to that, on the homepage, you'll also find a button that says Learn More About the Unlock Your Big Vision session. And I would so love to have a session, a conversation with you to spend time experiencing what your big vision is for yourself and what's keeping you from relaxing into that big vision. So go to my homepage, download the ebook 6 Clues about to solve the mystery of your soul purpose, and then also click on the button to unlock your big vision session. And let's schedule some time with me and let's talk. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the very generous gift, Holly. Thank you so much. So let me just take a quick peek at the, and thank you, Ruth, for your chats there. And let's see if there's any other comments that are coming in here. All right, great. So I'm going to bring on our next speaker. Let me just share with you his background. His name is Jason Stein, and he has a private coaching practice where he has helped hundreds of small business owners around the world to mindfully focus their business on what he calls their PRI, their profits, their relationships, and their impact. Jason has a combined 20 years of experience in the fields of medicine, coaching, and training. His titles have included Medical Director of Integrative Medicine, the Chair of Professional Development, and Chief Instigator. Jason lives in Portland, Oregon with his wife, 3 children, and Pitbull Jane. Thank you, Jason. It's such an honor to bring you here today.
Yeah, thank you, George. I want to make sure you're hearing me okay. Can you hear me, George?
Yes, hear you great. Thank you.
Great. Well, welcome, everyone. It's really interesting because on Google Hangout, we are about to hit the biggest storm in Portland, Oregon that we've seen in a decade. And I can see the trees bending over sideways. So hopefully the stability holds out. And for those of you that are live on the call, thank you for being here. I know that you could be watching your favorite program, you could be at work, and you chose to be here. And for all those that are watching later, really appreciate you taking time to focus on wisdom in your business. And I am going to go into slide mode. And so let me hit a button here. I'm going to share my screen with you. And there we go. We're going to be talking about daring to ask how to have people happily help you. And this asking thing has been really on my mind for quite some time. And I've really studied, why do some business owners succeed and some fail?
Oh,
and
Jason, just for a moment, I'm not seeing your screen yet. So if there's one more button, you might have to click to ensure that it's broadcasting.
Yeah. So let's go. How about?
Yeah. I think it's just about. Yeah. Now we see it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Sorry for the interruption.
It's okay. I appreciate you telling me. It's like I would never know I'd get through the entire presentation. So,
I was enjoying just watching you talk.
I'm glad you told me, because when I do presentations, I also have a timer in front of me, and I didn't hit that either.
Oh, there you go.
So something about a window in front of you when you see trees go sideways is a little distracting.
Thank you.
So really starting this conversation with asking yourself, are you really good at asking? And sometimes maybe you ask too much. Are you not good at asking, where you could ask more? Or are you hitting that sweet spot? And specifically for today, during the Wisdom Hour, I ask you to consider, are you asking enough in your business? Are you asking people to help you, both paid people and non-paid people, to get you where you want to go? And so it's really interesting because when we look at it, this is my son, Cooper Henry Stein. He was born just 5 weeks ago. And when he came out of the womb, he cried. And since then, in the last 5 weeks, he has no trouble asking. Like, no problem. He needs his diaper changed. He needs milk. He needs to be burped. He will not always cry, which is really great for us. Sometimes he'll just make cooing sounds. And we know that he has a need that he can't take care for himself. And so for everyone listening, there was a time in your life where you didn't have any problems with asking, and you could ask for whatever you wanted freely. Really take that in. There was a time in your life where you could ask for everything that you needed in the moment freely. So today what we're going to talk about is, why is asking important? When did we maybe stop asking? And how can we get good at it again? And so we moved from Cooper Henry Stein, I should know the name of my own son, to my other son, Jack Aiden Stein. And Jack's now 9 years old. This picture was taken when he was 6 years old. And I remember the morning when Jack came to me and he said, "Can I have a smoothie?" And I said no, because I was busy. And what did he do? Well, he asked again and again. And if we go back, we can think about being around a child that is asking for a treat, ice cream, screen time. And when an adult says no, they just ask again. And you have to ask yourself, in business, have you asked for business and you got a no, and it just puts you backwards? It kind of puts you down in a place like, wow, I'm not sure I want to ask anymore. So really remembering as an infant and even as a young child, it was really, really okay asking. Something happened along the way, and this slide says, what did your parents teach you about asking? And I want you to think not just about parents, but authority figures. There was an authority figure in your life that taught you not the positive side of asking, but the negative side. And I've listed some here that we can cover. You know, don't ask if you can do it yourself. Like, we are in an epidemic right now of a DIY culture. You can learn on the internet how to grow grapes and make a winery in your backyard. You can learn how to change the oil on your car. You can learn how to set up an audio studio in your house. But does it mean that you should do it all yourself just because you can? The next one, if you ask for help, you'll owe. This is the authority figure that has a tally sheet. And they feel like, oh, well, if you're going to ask for help, then you're got a deficit. And so how exciting is that with that premise in mind? If you have that frame, if I ask, I'll owe, chances are you'll just end up doing it all yourself. Next one, what if they say no? You may not be able to recover. I was talking to a client yesterday. The client is a GP in Australia that has several physicians working under her. And she always gives and hates to receive. And she is really afraid that if someone's thinking about her. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. Like, ooh, that no, it stings. It's hard to recover from. And so sometimes it's just easier not to ask altogether. This last one on the slide, you're selfish or greedy if you ask for help. I just, there's a part of my stomach that just churns a little bit when I think about having an authority figure saying you're selfish for asking. But ultimately, that creates a lineage of not asking and of often being alone. You know, the biggest one that I don't have on the slide It's better to give than to receive. Yeah. So how could that be true? If it's better to give than receive, we're going to end up in a community of people that are emotionally bankrupt because they're just giving some more. You know? We have to get to this space where we can begin to remember where these ideas came from that aren't true. Now, there's one of two places you'll go when that authority member starts saying, don't ask. You'll either swing like I did to the other pole, and you'll be a chronic asker. I'm the guy on the right. I was a major tool, for lack of a better word. I was a punk. And what I learned was the power of asking, that if you asked and asked and asked, people said yes. But it's like some of the marketers out there. It's manipulative, and there's no connection involved. People are saying yes because they don't want to deal with you. And ultimately, I had to learn by losing a friend that you can over ask. So it's very important. Just learning how to ask isn't enough. You have to learn how to ask and receive. It really comes with a balance. It's a really good premise to say, I can ask for what I want from whoever I want, whenever I want, but it doesn't mean that you should. It means that you can, and then you can start to go for the heart connection. And so really after this photo, when I was 22, I went overseas and I lived in Spain for a while. And it was a reset button for me to know asking is really powerful, but knowing when to ask, who to ask, and how to ask in a way that's connecting to create a heart-to-heart connection is way more powerful. So over asking, you can also go the other way. And this is very common for business owners. Not asking. So this is my wife several years ago. My wife is a bit of a unicorn. She, at an early age, never asked. So she became a physician. She became a yogi. She became a personal trainer. She's excellent at billiards. She's an excellent marksman with those guns there. And there's nothing that she can't do except one thing. She struggled for a long time asking for help. Now, as a physician, she went into private practice. And it was amazing to see that her accounts receivable started swinging up to like 5,000, 10,000, because when insurance didn't pay, what did she do? She said, well, I can't ask the patient to pay for it. It's the insurance fault, not theirs. Although every single patient she had signed a waiver that said that they were ultimately responsible, she wasn't able to ask for them to pay their bill. And this is really true with business owners. When people owe you money, it can be embarrassing, it can be challenging, and it can be easier not to ask. But just because it's easier doesn't mean it's the right thing for you. Really asking can be super empowering, and it can give you a whole nother level of being in community. So I just want to do an exercise someone taught me. I know that we're all over the world, and I know you're at a computer, and I know I can't hear you, but I ask you to play anyways. If I say R-O-A-S-T, what does it spell? Come on, say it out loud. It spells roast. Roast. Now, if we say it 5 times out loud, ready? Play with me. Allow yourself the ability to play. Roast, roast. No, I know some of you aren't playing. We're only going to do 5 times, and I'm not going to ask you to do more. Roast, 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 roast. What do you put in a toaster? What do you put in a toaster? Well, it's easy to say toast, but you put bread in a toaster. If you put toast in a toaster, it's extra crispy. And that really happens from the quality of not asking. We end up doing more and more. In business, we're the janitor, we're the marketer, we're the salesperson, we're the bookkeeper. And if we don't ask, we end up getting toasty and fried. And really, this comes from brain chemistry. So we want to start to know, not just from a spiritual end, the wisdom end, but the brain end. that this little bottom shape, the amygdala, is really the fight, flight, or freeze area of your brain. Now, if there was smoke going off and the smoke detector started to ring, we would look for the closest exit. Now, in asking, because of that early childhood behavior, we've been trained, ooh, asking doesn't feel good. I'd rather not do it, or I'm going to do it a lot and not be connected. Neither way is fulfilling. And the only way off of this is to a different part of the brain. We have to get to the present moment. And in the present moment, it's the frontal lobe, right up here. We've done MRI studies where they put monks in, and we find that in the present moment, you're no longer associating to the past. You're no longer associating to the fear of the future and what might happen, but you're just here, right now. Now, it's really interesting because it's hard to get present because we're constantly inundated. We're inundated with emails. Right now in this moment, if you look, you're looking at me. You can look above your computer and you can see around your room, but there's one thing that's physical that you cannot see, and that's your own eyes. It's amazing that if you can't see your own eyes, you are biologically designed to give more than you receive. Now, the number one human need in the world, in all the world, there's been studies where it comes down to one need, and it's to be a contribution to other human beings. So if you are focused outward all the time, you're looking around to say, who needs help? How can I help? But you got to start to check in. How do I need help? How can I ask? And in the asking, the more specific you can be, the easier it is to say yes to someone. Often people want to help you. They want to happily help you, but they'll say things like, do you need help? And you'll say, well, I'd love help, but I don't know what to ask for. And you do if you slow down. If you close your eyes right now in your business, you can imagine one place that you could ask for help. And you probably could even see the person who could help you. So if we put it all together, we got the 1, 2, 3. Remember, there was a time that you could ask freely. That's true for every human being, including you. That biologically, in neurochemistry, there's a fight, flight, or freeze response. And it's almost impossible to ask until you get to a different part of the brain. And that happens through mindfulness. And in that mindfulness, you can remember that the number one human need for every human being on earth is to be a contribution, and ask yourself this question: are you allowing people to be a contribution to you? If you're not, the time is now. And so I'm going to leave you with an ask. And my ask is, would you be willing, would you dare to consciously ask other human beings once a day to support your business? What would that be like? Every day that you're in business, to consciously make one ask. I'd love to hear some comments. Go ahead and put them on the comments on Facebook, and we have time for just a couple of questions. So let me turn off the presentation and come back in here. And yeah, we good?
Yeah, that was awesome, Jason. Thank you so much. That was excellent. I love the slides as well. So yeah, as Jason mentioned, what question do you have? What would you like to ask? Put that in the comments area, and if we don't have time to answer it right now, we will certainly be looking at that after the hour, and Jason will be able to go and respond to you there as well. So Jason, I'd love for you to just take a minute and share with us something about your business and what you're offering.
Sure. So for me, I love working with small business owners because many of them left big corporations to really do something on purpose. Like, how do you make a difference in the world and in a way that can also feed the livelihood of yourself and your family? And so for small business owners, it comes down to triad for me of profits. You have to have profits. You have to build relationships. And with the right relationships, business gets easier and easier. And you want to make an impact. So are you making a deep impact? And so my offering that I have is I flip the free discovery session upside down. And as opposed to a general assessment, I do 30-minute strategy sessions for your favorite chocolate. And George, I'll make sure that people have the link, but I get chocolate around the world and I get to serve. And so this is not a bait and switch. I'm here to really show up and talk to as many small business owners as I can. And I'll share the link with you, George, and we can get it out to the audience.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. That's great. And I want to thank Ruth for her comment. It says, Jason, brilliant, deeply touching contribution. And what is your best and favorite way of helping us? And I think, Jason, you just answered one of that question in one of your favorite ways. I love the chocolate session idea. For sure, I will put the link on the Wisdom Hour event page as well. But you can also just go to jasonstein.com and find it there.
You can't. It's a hidden link.
Oh, so it's a hidden link. Okay, well, they can go to jasonstein.com.
You can go to jasonstein.com. I do have a 2-minute video tip that comes out every Monday. So you can get that there. But if you want the chocolate strategy session, it's a hidden link.
Yeah.
And so we'll share that out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So next, we've got our third topic, our final speaker, and I'm honored to introduce to you Meryl Hershey Beck. Let me just read you her background and I'll bring her on. So Meryl Hershey Beck is a licensed professional clinical counselor. She is a master teacher and an international speaker. She has helped many people to stop their emotional eating through her book called Stop Eating Your Heart Out. She also has an online course at udemy.com called Tap Cravings Away, the fastest method to eliminate a craving. She is the founder of an energy psychology technique called source tapping, and she has been teaching energy strategies for 20 years at workshops, at energy psychology conferences, and through her email newsletter. So it is an honor for me to share with you Meryl Hershey Beck.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to be here with you. Okay, let's see if I can figure this out. Share slide. Well, share.
There we are. Yep, we can see it.
And here, there. Okay, you can see it, right?
Yes.
Too big?
It might still be taking a moment to come up, but I do see the screen where I do see the sidebars, but maybe if you just click once, it'll go to the next one.
No.
Oh, it could be actually, Meryl. It could be that it's sharing the other window on the screen. That could be the case.
Well, it shows it for me. So, what are you seeing, George?
Oh, well, I'm seeing the slideshow in the edit mode.
Oh, well, because I have it in play mode in front of me. I don't know what else to do.
Oh, you can. Why don't you close the play mode and then just close that window, come back to the edit mode because that's what we're seeing. So you can just walk us through the slides there.
Okay, let me do that again.
Yeah.
Sorry about this. You know, this is times like this is when I need my 11-year-old granddaughter around.
Yeah.
No, not there.
Well.
Oh well, now it's worse.
It's okay.
Do you see that?
Yeah. No. Okay. Yes. Now we see it. Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Great.
Anyway, there aren't going to be that many slides, thank goodness.
Great.
And I'm going to talk about how to get energized. 3 keys to build your energy and magnetize success. So we're a lot more than just our physical beings. We are also an energy body, and that's what this image shows you. And I'll go back to that in a minute. Okay, maybe. And when I first became a therapist, which was in 1980, I had no idea about energy. And when that came into my life, it changed the way I worked with people. It changed the way I saw people. And it really took me to different levels with myself and with my clients. And what I came to understand is that high energy and being bright is attractive and magnetic. For instance, my colleague and I walked into a restaurant one day with our friend Sarah. Now, Sarah at the time was a middle-aged woman, whatever that means to you, slightly overweight, but she had a lot of energy. She was a bright light. And when we walked into that restaurant, every head turned, not just the men, but the women too, because of her brightness. We could see her. She was magnetic. Another example, I was just in Sedona with my friend, and she said to me when she got to Sedona, she decided she wanted to sign up to be intuitive reader at one of the many galleries there. And, you know, the woman there said, you know, we have lots of readers and you don't have to write very much about you because your picture will actually tell people more about you than your words. And so she put her picture on and she's very radiant with a few words, and she became the most popular reader at that place because of her energy. So I'm going to be teaching you how to get your energy high. Now, we're not talking about manic energy. You know, we're talking about grounded energy. We're talking about being a bright light. We're talking about radiating it out to magnetize what it is you want, to attract your desires, whether it's in business or your personal life. Now we're going to try one more sharing. So when we talk about the 3 keys, let's see. We're going to maybe talk about the 3 keys, but it doesn't seem to be on here. Let's try that again.
Yes,
you see?
now we can see it.
Okay, good. So we're all energy beings, and we have a battery pack of energy. So we need to keep our personal battery pack charged. So imagine that we are like a battery. You know, here we are, this battery person, and we need to keep this battery charged. And one thing to do, and it reminds me a lot of what Holly talked about, is to be aware, to be in the moment, to be present. And here's a diagram, and you see on the right, we need to pay attention to what is our energy level. Periodically throughout the day, is it high enough? Is it at least a 5? Or are we dipping into the reserve? Because if we're low, once we get below a 5, we don't even remember to do this. So when we're paying attention, we don't go into the reserve. We don't dip that low. We don't want to look like this, you know, haggard and down and depressed and have no energy and no light to do anything. And our goal in life and our goal in this session today is to be this energized magnetic being. Okay, let's see if I can go back. Okay, I'm back, right?
Yes.
Am I back?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So the first key is to be aware, to monitor our energy periodically during the day. How am I doing? And in a moment, I'm going to give you some ideas what to do if your energy starts to dip. And the second key really reminds me of what Jason just talked about. It's about asking for and receiving support. So we can ask. And the support, sometimes it's spiritual, it's source. And sometimes it's from our peers, our community, our friends. And I'll give you a couple examples of that. Just 2 days ago was the anniversary of my son's passing. Now, he died 5 years ago. And I was on Facebook in the morning and I couldn't even write anything. All I could write was, please send me energy. Please send me prayers to my Facebook friends and community. Because I had felt like I was a pebble. And the pebble was thrown into this sea, these waves of grief, and I was sinking. Well, after just a short time, I felt myself being lifted. The energy does that. I was being lifted. And so it was more like I was a feather and I was riding on the waves of grief rather than sinking from them. And that's because I asked and I was open to receive. And we can all do that. ask for support, like Jason was talking about, ask for what we need. I have a friend who has an illness, and we have trained her, my colleagues and I have trained her, that when she's not feeling good, when she's in pain, to text us, to say, please send me energy. And every time she does, she writes back and says, thank you so much, it's helping. So we have to train others to do it, and we have to be willing to ask ourselves. When we send energy, we cannot send our own, because we're like that battery. We have a finite amount of energy. So I'm going to show you through a closed eye exercise my favorite way of tapping into energy outside of ourselves. So if you're not driving and you'd be willing to play along and join me, I'm inviting you to close your eyes and just be aware of your breathing. You don't need to change it. You just want to be aware of it. Feel the air coming in and going out. Sarah. And don't talk while you're drinking water. Sorry about that. And imagine that there's a bright light right above your head. And this is the light from Source, from God, from the universe. And every time you breathe in, imagine that light is coming in through your crown into your heart. So take a few breaths, allowing that light to enter in through your crown and storing it into your heart so that you're filling yourself. You can also imagine bringing in the energy from the earth through your tailbone, through your feet, up into your heart through your inhale. And do that for a few breaths. And if you're able, combine it, bringing it in from the universe and up from the ground into your heart. And imagine sending it to anyone that you know that needs some energy, some love, some light, some juice in this moment. And then when you're ready, come on back and open your eyes. That's a way of making sure that you are sending energy that is not your own finite energy in your own battery pack. You're connected to source energy, to the universe, and or connected to earth energy. Either way, it'll work. And it's such a win-win, because when we send energy that way, we're not sending our own, we're filling up first and then sending it on. So I had this client, I've had many clients that have done this, and he comes in one day and he says, "Oh, I hate my boss. Oh, I hate my boss." And we'll call him Donald. And Donald, oh, I don't want to use that name. We'll call him Ron. And Ron says, "You know, it's so hard to be at work. I can't stand him." Now, Ron is a recovering alcoholic, goes to AA, and has had a lot of recovery. And I reminded Ron how we send energy to other people. He says, "I'm not doing that. He's an SOB. I'm not sending him energy." Ron, it's not your energy. So I reminded him. He comes back the next week and he says, "My boss really isn't such a bad guy after all." I said, "Ron, what happened?" He said, "Okay, I couldn't stand it anymore at work, so I took your suggestion. I sent him energy. I sent him universal energy and earth energy, and he's really a nice guy." He said to me, "You want to go for coffee?" We went for coffee, and now he went to an AA meeting with me. So the only thing that changed was that Ron was able to send him energy. And we can do this with anybody that's challenging in our lives, any of our difficult people. Or if we're going home from work and we know our kids are fighting, send energy to your kids before you get there. It really works. And then the third key is increasing self-care and having a list of energy-enhancing exercises you can do for yourself. Now, self-care begins, of course, with good nutrition and adequate sleep, But it's much more than that. It's really taking care of yourself in lots of ways. One of my personal favorite ways, and George mentioned, is that I created source tapping. It's an energy psychology technique that looks really weird because you'll be tapping on these acupressure points to release physical and emotional pain, to manage stress, to connect to source. And that's one of my personal favorite ways. And you can read more about that at sourcetapping.com. But there's other ways that I do it too, other personal energizers. And one is called the pleasure breath. And I'm going to ask you to do it with me if you'd be willing. And I actually included this in source tapping. So this one you can do with your eyes open or closed. And when we breathe in, I'm going to ask you to fill your bellies. And you might want to put your hand right there on your tummy. So breathe in, filling your belly. And when we exhale, we do it with a sound ha, H-A, and a big smile on your face. Let's try it 3 times, please. You can do it with me. Ready? Ha. Again. Ha. And one more. Ha. And what we're doing with that breath is stimulating the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve increases our production of oxytocin, the feel-good hormone. And you can do that anywhere and anytime, in the car, on your own, whatever you want. So I'll encourage you to make a list of other energy-enhancing exercises you can do on your own, large muscle exercises, or maybe you're like the conductor that has really good heart rate because they're using their arms all the time. And anything that brings you joy, gratitude list. So those are the 3 keys. Be aware, monitor your energy, ask for support, use source, universe support, earth support, and your people support. And then the 3rd one, increase self-care and energy enhancing exercises or practices.
Thank you. That was awesome. Thanks for leading us through those exercises as well. And I'm so glad again that we will be able to watch this again and again as we need to really understand and embody those practices so that we can use them more regularly. So those who are watching, if you're watching live or on a replay, if you have any words of gratitude and appreciation for Meryl, anything that particularly resonated with you from what she shared, please go ahead and comment below the video. And if we can't bring that forward right now, I'm sure she can look at that later. I'll be sure to send that to her. So Meryl, I'd love for you to take 1 minute and share with us about your business, your offering, anything you'd like to share with us today.
Okay, so I was going to share a screen. I guess can't do that.
Yeah, let's you could just share with us. It's fine.
Okay. Oh, here it is. So I have this Get Energized ebook for you. I have been sending out to an online group of about 1,600 energy tips for years. And these are our favorite. There's 20 of them I gathered for you. And I want to read this quote from Tony Robbins. The higher your energy level, the more efficient your body. The more efficient your body, the better you feel, and the more you will use your talent to produce outstanding results. So when you get this book, it's a free download when you go to stopeatingyourheartout.com/get energized. And when you open the book, you can open at the beginning or anywhere else you want. And these are tips and tools for you to use to keep your energy high, be that magnetic you that sparkles and radiates and that attracts what you want into your life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That's a wonderful gift. And I will be sure to put that link in the Wisdom Hour event page as well. So thank you so much, Meryl. Really appreciate you sharing with us today and sharing with us your heart and these wonderful practices. And I also want to thank Jason for this powerful perspective of how we can really grow our business by using the power of asking. So thank you, Jason. And thank you, Holly, for just your beautiful reminder and exercise to tap into the source of who we really are and how we can relax into our soul purpose. And thank you also for the gift. So with that, I really welcome you to contact the speakers. In fact, if you have an audience that any of the speakers you think would be perfect for your audience, you might want to contact them and offer that opportunity to them. Or if you know somebody, a friend who has an audience that the speaker could really add value to, you might want to contact the speakers for that. You can find that all on our Wisdom Hour event page. If you don't know how to find that, or if you have any questions about the Authentic Business Community, you can just go to authenticbusinesscommunity.com. That's where you'll find all the information. Again, I'm George Kao, and it's been an honor to be with you today. I hope you've enjoyed this hour, and the replay will be available shortly after this. So feel free to watch it again so you can really let the messages and the exercises sink in for you. Have a wonderful day, and I wish you a great month until our next Wisdom Hour.